It's the Flex Network. Flex on everybody.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Flex Network. I'm your host, Flex Shane. You can follow me on Twitter at the Flex Network 1. I'm joined, of course, by Brandon Adam. You can follow him on Twitter at Brandon D Adam 19. Brandon, what the hell is going on, brother?
Oh, dude, I'm just excited. Another fantastic week of games coming up. Some definite injuries some major injuries that we got to talk about, especially with the Cardinals. There's definitely some opportunity for one of our golden children, and I think it's going to be his week.
That's all we want, man. We want opportunity for our golden children. And man, it's going to be a crazy week. So look, we've been going through every game recently the last couple of weeks, and it seems to be working. We're getting a lot of great content out of it. The feedback's been very positive. So, hey man, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Let's keep going. So let's just set the table for the week, ladies and gentlemen. There are 4 teams on bye this week. There's the Seattle Seahawks, the Bucks, the Washington football team, and of course the Detroit Lions. So there are some definite fantasy relevant players that are going to be impacted. So plan accordingly. I know in one league it's filthy. I got lucky with Nyheim Hines. I just started him in 3 or 4 leagues, and I got lucky. That's one of those, like, you pray up to the fantasy gods and they deliver once in a while. But
yeah,
before we get into everything, I want to talk a little bit about the Thursday night game. We finally had a breakup. Look, it wasn't a good Michael Carter game. That was unfortunate. But a golden son, a beautiful man, Elijah Moore. He finally went off. He had 8 targets, which is tied for the best of the season. He had 7 receptions on 84 yards and 2 touchdowns. And here's the thing. What we love is that his average yards per catch last 3 weeks, 13 yards, 11 yards, and 12 yards, which means he's getting downfield, which means he's getting first downs. He's making a difference for the team. Tell me, say hallelujah, Brandon. Tell me.
Hallelujah, man. Look what happens when you get a quarterback that just follows the system and follows what the offense is supposed to do. And the reason why Michael Carter didn't smash is because of the switch to Johnson after Mike White got hurt. Johnson does not check that football down. He's a mobile quarterback. He's going to run and get those yards instead of checking those things like White did for Carter. So as long as Johnson's in there, I'm kind of downgrading Carter just a smidge because his upside isn't quite there because of the dump off passes aren't as prevalent. But as soon as Mike White comes back, Carter wheels up on Carter.
Well,
but Elijah Moore is a superstar, bro. And we knew this. We knew this. Like, he's a literal Tyler Lockett clone. And he is unbelievably good, and he finally got himself an opportunity share with Corey Davis down, and look what happens. I really hope the coaches see that this kid is special and just continue to ride him.
They see it probably every day in practice. Well, they do see it every day in practice. They know Elijah Moore is special. Look, I still believe in Jamison Crowder. I think Jamison Crowder is still a very good wide receiver in this league, and unfortunately, it's going to buoy Elijah Moore a little bit, at least for the rest of the season. But when Corey Davis is out, it opens up opportunities. And, just touching on the quarterback situation, the Jets did get Joe Flacco. He didn't play this week. I don't know what's going to happen. It sounds like Mike White might be available for next week. So is it going to be White? Is it going to be Joe Flacco? Like, what are they trying to accomplish in New York right now? I'm not totally sure.
I think they're just trying to get through the season somewhat healthy and not lose their youngins in the process. I think they know they're 2 years out from actually doing anything. But you can just see, dude, I'm telling you, you can see the foundation has been laid. This Robert Saleh's the attitude of the Jets is different on the field to me. It feels like they actually are enjoying their job a little bit, unlike previous years, even though they're losing and stuff. It looks like they're actually trying hard. The young guys are buying in. Like, you can just see it. Like, I feel the culture changing quite a bit in that.
The fact that they beat the Titans and they beat the Bengals.
Those are quality wins.
Yes, they came in last week as the top team in the AFC last week. It's football's wild, man. Tell me a story about Deandre Swift.
Oh
Brendan.
man, dude. So you've gotten me so into DeAndre Swift, right? So I've been hounding everybody about getting DeAndre Swift in many leagues, and in my most expensive, most important league I got, it's with Alan Seslowski and a bunch of Chief. It's with a bunch of guys in
Maniacal
that,
people,
and
yes.
I'm the defending champ, right? I'm the defending champ. And I was just sitting there. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to drop a nuclear bomb on this league. I'm going to go out and go get DeAndre Swift. And DeAndre Swift, I paid Tony Pollard my 23rd first and my 24 first for
That's
Swift.
not bad.
So, dude, no, it's not. No, if you actually go and look at a bunch of different value charts, I won the league I won that trade by 20% on average. And dude, like to be able to throw, I'm going to be, listen to this lineup: Mahomes, Swift, Mixon, AJ Brown, Tyreek Hill, Andrews, Hunt, and who else? Cordell Patterson. I got, I mean, I got,
that's pretty sick.
I am loaded. Like that whole league is so, I guarantee you they're so mad right now because they got no chance.
So here's a little gamesmanship. I know it's just it's 1 week. They're on their bye this week though, and maybe just try to float out an effective offer that includes at least 2 firsts to the Swift manager right now. Maybe they're desperate for a win. Maybe they're willing to do it. Who knows? You got to take advantage, man. The thing about trades is that it's all about timing, and that's important. And look, congratulations, brother. I made a trade earlier this week, and I know people don't care about fantasy teams. That's true. But I'm just kind of curious. So we talked about it offline. I'm a win now team, and we've talked about it in Dynasty. You want to win when you've got a chance because it's hard, right? So I traded. Yeah, exactly, man. So I traded Cortland Sutton, or I received Cortland Sutton and Adrian Peterson for Kadarius Toney. This guy's been trying to get Toney off me for a while. He wanted, Toney plus for Cortland Sutton, and I kind of said, "Look, man, like I like Sutton, but I'm hanging on to Toney," and he made me a pretty good offer. He gave me AP, this week with it's depth. I'm probably not going to start him, but it's depth, right? And that's what you want.
Honestly, dude, I was gonna wait to talk about Peterson once we got to the game. Do you want to do that now, or can we just wait for the game, or do you want to just talk about that game right now?
We'll talk about it in the game. But I think what's kind of interesting is that when you look at total air yards,
Sutton, man,
Sutton has 982 total areas on the season. That leads the NFL.
Yeah,
this is mind-boggling, right?
That's a buy.
Teddy Bridgewater, he's just not effective with the deep ball. And look, his total receiving yards are 579, which kind of I think is like number 12 in the league on receiving yards, which is still very impressive. And I get Jerry Jeudy's back. Look, I'm not an idiot. I get
doesn't matter.
But Cortland Sutton is a true alpha. He had an early breakout age. He's showing that he can do it in the league. I love Kadarius Toney. I didn't think I'd say that, but Kadarius Toney has proven everybody wrong. To me, it was a no-brainer. And this is a sort of trade where, man, if you can get somebody who's enamored with one of these rookies, we love the rookies. Do it for a well-established player, especially if you're win now. That's the play. So if you have Elijah Moore,
absolutely
contending team, consider maybe
absolutely
to trade him. So that's it, man. So shall we get into the games? Because we got a lot of freaking games to talk about.
Get into the games.
All right. So let's get going with the first game on the week, and let's jump right into it, man. It's Arizona Cardinals going up against San Fran. It's a 45-point over/under, and Arizona is actually San Fran is favored in this. That's interesting. I guess Vegas is probably assuming that Kyler's not going to play. Is that where we're at, or if he does play, he's hurt?
I think he plays. I think he's got that mentality. I think he's going to play. But if he doesn't, it still doesn't matter. It's still fine. I'm going to talk about my guy, Rondell Moore, a little bit. Yeah, Rondell, this is his week. If we got AJ Green out, we have Hopkins out. That literally gives
Hopkins
up.
Maybe out. We don't know for sure. Has he been ruled out officially?
I think he's going to be out. I think he literally did nothing last week, and he looked hurt, and it didn't look right. And Rondell is going to have a massive surge in snap share this week, and that's all he's needed. Whenever he's ran routes, he's been targeted. That if you look at the deeper analytics, he has been targeted whenever he's on the field. It's just that he's on the field less than 40% of the time. It's brutal right now because that offense is so stacked. Like it's an Ertz week, it's an Edmonds week, and it's Rondell. I think those are the three they're going to run it through. And I think Kirk is going to pull a lot of coverage because people are going to assume it's going to be Kirk.
AJ Green. I don't know if you mentioned it, but AJ Green's also he's out with COVID, right? So
I mentioned AJ Green is out, man. So like, I can totally see Rondell Moore snap share going up to like 75% this week, and that's just telling me he's gonna make some plays and he's gonna be worthy of a flex. And I think if he scores, I could see him putting up 20 points. Like.
We know he's got the explosive upside, and we see Bally here. Thanks, Bally. Appreciate you tuning in every single week. We love it. We appreciate it. Thank you so much from the bottom of our hearts. Thank you.
Yep.
We appreciate it. You started Rondell and Gainwell, who unfortunately disappointed last week. We'll get to that fucking Philly. Jordan Howard, are you kidding me? Get the hell out of here with Jordan Howard. Now you're gonna put me on tilt, Bally. But yeah,
I hate that coach.
Nick Sirianni,
that coach.
He's got to go, ladies and gentlemen.
Coach.
My God. But yeah, man. So it's going to be interesting. I'm comfortable with that. What about on the San Francisco side? I mean, the thing is that Debo looks like truly questionable.
Kingsbury
was saying, Shanahan was saying that he's actually worse this week than he was last week. It's not good, but he's going to play. Listening to some of these fantasy doctors, he's going to play. I think then this is one of my flex plays in the week.
Here you go.
And look,
I know what you're saying. I know where you're going.
Going back to the damn well. Brandon Ayuk, he got 7 targets last week, including the 2-point conversion. He's getting it. He looks good out there. He's finally looking good out there. I don't know, man. Like
he's a buy low if you can go get him.
He is, and honestly, he's somebody like if you can throw him into a trade as well.
Yes,
it's also a good opportunity, right? It's kind of a sweetener. I was able to do a little deal with Kozlowski last week. He was desperate. I mean, let's call it what it is. He was desperate, but I threw an Ayuk, and it got the deal done. So, yeah, man. Other than that, Elijah Mitchell, we're not sure. He's questionable. It sounds like he's going to play. He's got the ribs.
He'll be all right.
Yeah, and Jeff Wilson. It sounds like Jeff Wilson could be back as early as this week. He's recovering faster than they expected. We just got to monitor that. That worries me a little bit for Elijah Mitchell because he's hurt, and if Jeff
Kittle's back,
I know Jeff Wilson's good. Oh yes, and don't bury the lead. George Kittle is
back.
He's playing.
Kittle's back.
Flex, Mike. What's going on? Or Mike, what's going on, brother? Yes,
homie. Yeah, Kittle's back. So I'm curious to see what he's gonna do. I'm actually that's one of the biggest storylines that's not being talked about is Kittle. Like, what's gonna happen? Like, are we gonna finally get an elite outing from him? Is he gonna be with Debo banged up? Can he get 6, 7, 8 targets? That would be wonderful. Like, let's see if it happens. I'm curious.
Well, and that would be the death knell for Brandon Ayuk, right? If Debo's
not really, no.
Well, here's the thing: if Debo's still getting targets, and then say Ayuk's target share goes from 7, 8 targets down to 3, 4 targets, it's too little to do anything with, right? Consistently.
It's going to be interesting. But I would lean on Ayuk. If I was Kyle Shanahan, I would lean on the more healthy guy that's been in games. You don't want to throw a full workload at Kittle right off the bat, do you? Like, this guy has been injured a lot. Like, I don't see them just peppering him with 10 targets. Like, it's just not going to happen. I see like 5 targets for him, 5, 6 targets, 5 targets. Yeah.
No, Mitchell's likely going to play, Mike. It sounds like he's got the ribs, but these fantasy doctors are saying he's going to start, so expect him to start. Are you starting with confidence? I have to in a few leagues. Confidently, not so much. I don't know. Let's move on. Atlanta at New Orleans. New Orleans is a 6-point favorite as expected. Trevor Simeon's going to be their starting quarterback. It is a 41.5 over under. Talk to me about Atlanta first. Do we trust the Russell Gage experiment if we have to?
Honestly, so against New Orleans is the 11th best ranking, 11th 11th best wide receiver matchup in the slate this week. And so I think Gage has somewhat of a role this week because Ridley's out. Cordell Patterson can't play wide receiver and running back at the same exact time on the field.
Accepted.
A challenge accepted, right? Exactly. But I totally can see Gage definitely having some kind of role with 6-7 targets, and he's a good player, man. So I don't see why he couldn't get 12 points for you, 12, 15 points. I mean,
it should be a decent.
This is the matchup for the Atlanta wide receivers. Like everything, look at this against the quarterbacks that Atlanta or this New Orleans is 27th best against quarterbacks, 27th best against running backs, 25th best against tight ends. It's the wide receiver position, and the only wide receiver they got is Cordell Patterson and Gage, really, and that other guy with the name I can't pronounce, Zachariah or.
Well, they got Tajay Sharp and they got Zacchaeus. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Tarjay. Yeah, they got Tarjay. You can go shop at Tarjay if you want.
Yeah, and then they got Kyle Pitts. Here's the thing, Kyle Pitts. He's been lining up as a wide receiver. I think that Marshall Lattimore is likely going to cover Pitts. Maybe it's just because it's in division.
Gives up Gage.
Yeah, and Marshall Lattimore does a really good job typically of shutting down big players like Mike Evans, right? So Kyle Pitts, if he's going to have a game, it's going to be tough because of Marshall Lattimore. This could be a kind of a filthy one. I'm starting Cordero. I'm starting when I have to Russell Gage. And then on the New Orleans side, you start an Alvin Kamara, obviously, right? If Trevor Siemian starts, because we're not sure what Taysom Hill and the concussion yet, are you comfortable starting any wide receivers? And what about Mark Ingram, man, as like a kind of a sneaky play if they really try to push for the run game?
So the New Orleans Saints are just all green go. Like the Atlanta defense is a sieve. Unfortunately, it's a low over under, so Vegas is expecting kind of a shitty game. But listen to this: quarterbacks for quarterbacks, second best matchup. For running backs, 7th best matchup. For wide receivers, 8th best matchup. 10th best for tight ends. So I could see Mark Callaway doing something. I could see Traquan Smith maybe. But I mean, Simeon's a good. I watched him in Denver a little bit. He can spread the ball around quite a bit. But honestly, I think this is an Alvin Kamara massive week.
It's going to be an Alvin. Yeah,
I see them just checking down to him 5, 6, 7 times this week and just running screen after screen after screen with this guy. So I could totally see that. And then Mark Ingram, dude, I don't see if they're up in the fourth quarter, they aren't going to run Alvin Kamara out there. They're going to run Ingram out there just to salt away the clock. So I could totally see him being a trash man and picking up some points in the fourth quarter.
It could happen, man. You need the touchdown. I would say for Ingram to be productive
you need the touchdown, but I would never start Ingram, never. But if you're in that situation,
lots of good fantasy viable players on bye this week. It's nasty. And here's the thing: they're high scoring. So if you're a good team, a lot of these players, like I know I'm playing Sully from Houston, which I kind of rolled the nuts on that one. Playing against that Sully who's got all Tampa. Like he stacked his shit into Tampa and he's first in points in the league because of it. But man, if you're playing against the guy who's got a lot of Tampa players, you kind of lucked out. Man, I don't know. I don't love it, but sometimes you got to do what you got to do. Moving on, Baltimore versus Minnesota. This is one of the high over-unders.
Here we go.
Points. Baltimore's favored by 6 points. Dare I say Lamar Jackson looks like his MVP self again?
Yes, he does. He's got that offense finally has gotten into rhythm some. I think just in the beginning of the season when we were kind of hesitant on them that I think they were still reeling from the JK and Gus loss. And they were trying to figure out how they're going to get this run game going, who's going to do it. And I think they're just got this the ugliest committee in the NFL. They have the ugliest committee in the NFL. I would not start one running back from that team. But Lamar Jackson and Hollywood Brown should go absolutely bonkers in this game. I absolutely love Hollywood Brown in this game. They got the ninth best matchup as wide receivers in the league against the wide receiver position. So I can totally see Hollywood killing it, and I can see it. Bateman, I thought I saw something about him popping up late on injury. Is that right?
Bateman, I'm not sure. I was gonna say that it sounds like Sammy Watkins could be back this week, but Bateman, I'm not sure. I saw that.
I think I saw Bateman. He popped up a little bit, like he wasn't out there for the media.
Questionable, yeah, groin. Yeah. Interesting.
Yep.
See, it's minor physical.
Yeah, but he just had surgery on that groin.
Yeah.
So
we'll see.
Like any kind of deal with that, I would not start Bateman this week. I would lean away from him. I would go with Hollywood if you have them. Smash Hollywood in there. Running backs, it has a good matchup, but to be honest, I don't trust any of them. And it's a horrendous matchup for tight end. It's Lamar and Hollywood for me.
Yeah, Hollywood Brown, man, he's having a hell of a season. Marquis Brown, he's number 7 right now in terms of overall points per week. He's got a 25% market share, which we talk about. We love. He's got 825 air yards. I think he had 300 air yards in that one game a couple weeks back. So don't forget about Marquis Brown. And here's the thing: Danielle Hunter for the Minnesota Vikings, he's out for the season. He's their edge rusher, and that means that Lamar is going to have time. And what does Marquis Brown need? He needs a little bit of time. He doesn't need a lot of time. He needs a little bit of time to get downfield. So, look, I'll be honest. I was not in on Marquis Brown. I think a lot of people kind of soured on him.
I did. I'll admit it. I soured on him for sure.
I did too, man. He was falling far in drafts, and I barely got him. I did a half season draft last week after 7 weeks of data, and I got Marquis because I think that he's legitimate. And shit, man, is my wide receiver, I think 2 or 3. All day long, baby. All day long.
Now, how about Minnesota? What about on the other side of that ball? Who do you like on that side of the ball?
Look, you're going to start the 2 wide receivers, right? Tyler Conklin, however, he's got the matchup, and he got 7 targets last week. So Tyler Conklin, it's always nasty every single week starting these tight ends. But let's feel confident starting Tyler Conklin unless you've got an obvious better option like, I don't know, Dallas Goedert, Kyle Pitts, you know the names, right?
Yeah, but just the top 5.
If you're rolling that tight end wheel this week and you're hoping to get a few points and maybe a touchdown, Ty Conklin can do it. So
I'm doing it. I'm rolling him out there in a very important league of mine, and Conklin is in my lineup. I am. It's the 3rd best tight end matchup of the week, and Baltimore cannot. They just are terrible against the tight end. So I think Conklin scores for sure.
There you go. He's calling it here, ladies and gentlemen. Pat Conklin scoring. Moving on to the Buffalo Bills at the Jacksonville Jaguars. It is a 48.5 over-under, but Buffalo's favored by 14.5 points. Look, Emmanuel Sanders got the goose egg last week, which is honestly it's shocking. If any player in that offense gets the goose egg, you assume it's going to be like a Gabe Davis or something like that. A lot of talk that Buffalo could be where Odell ends up. Guys, Odell's not good anymore. Odell, there's just that murmurs, right? The murmurs of where could he end up? He wants to go to a contender.
I hope that doesn't happen.
I think so. Officially, it's going to be Monday, right, when they're going to run the waivers, and we'll see. $7.5 million. The team will have to pick up his salary, which honestly is not a lot, right? A team's going to get it done. But look, Odell had one good game. He hasn't done anything for what feels like forever. I'm not sold. Look, if you want to be a hero, and maybe if Odell was dropped to one of your leagues, go grab him. Look, his fantasy football.
Oh, dude, if somebody dropped him, grab him because you never know. Like, he could go to Atlanta and he could walk into a wide receiver 1 role immediately. Like, for at least a month, as long as Ridley's out. Like, he could walk right in and step in and be a wide receiver 1 for that team. So
here's a question. If you're Odell, you're a selfish man. That's just my opinion of this guy. It feels like he's a selfish guy. So my question to you, if you're Odell and you're selfish, you want the championship, which means you pull an AB, you go to a team where you might be the 3rd wide receiver on the team, but you have an opportunity to championship, or are you playing for the next contract to say, hey man, hey league, hey NFL, I'm still the Odell Beckham of old. I'm going to go to a team like the Atlanta Falcons. I'm going to go to a team like, dare I say, the Houston Texans. Maybe not the Texans, but a team with a competent quarterback doesn't have playoff aspirations, but he's going to be potentially the lead dog in that offense. I don't know. It's going to be interesting. It's
going to be interesting. I honestly, it might not even be his decision. Like, if he might not even clear waivers. So, he could literally get picked up by Atlanta, and he has no choice. So
this is true. This is true.
I think Atlanta would be very smart of them to, unless they're just trying to tank and get a higher pick for next year. Like you wouldn't make that move.
No. And be very Atlantean to freaking pick up Odell Beckham and get a couple more wins on the season.
But if you look at Buffalo's matchup right here, like Dawson Knox is out, so they have the number one tight end matchup of the week, which is unfortunate because Knox is out, or else he would have gone nuclear. Wide receivers have the third best, fifth best for running back, and third best for quarterback. So I can totally see, Josh Allen throwing 3 touchdowns. And
yes,
and one of them is going to go to Sanders. I think Sanders is going to have a bounce back week. I could totally see that happening.
And Beasley, we're not like he's a true game time. Luckily, it's the early game. It's the 11 o'clock game, so have a backup if you've got Cole Beasley in your rosters. If Cole Beasley plays, I assume he's going to get his targets.
Yes,
Buffalo. Look, Cole. If Stephon Diggs was hurt, they would play him as a decoy, right? Cole Beasley is not the lead dog in that offense. He's like the third fiddle, right? Why would you start Cole Beasley with playoff aspirations, or give him an extra week to heal? So if Cole Beasley plays, start him with confidence. He's going to get targets. If he doesn't, maybe actually I kind of prefer that. At least we know we'll have clarity early on. On the Jacksonville side, anybody jumps out at you?
No.
Okay, I got one.
It's bad.
Okay?
It's bad. It's bad.
It's bad. Okay, Laviska's not getting any targets, but here's the thing. There's a little man. I call him little. He's about he's a little bit taller than I am. Who is this speed demon? His name is Jamal Agnew. You guys all know him.
There he is.
He had like 108-yard kick return, and he's a freaking speedster, man. He had a 4.39 40, and last week he got 12 targets. Okay, so look, that's a travesty. It's a travesty when you got Laviska Shenault, you got Marvin Jones on this team, and then Jamal Agnew is demanding 12 targets. It is what it is. We're gonna
Urban Meyer.
It really is. It's a head shake. It's a head shake,
man.
Here's the thing. I have Jamal Agnew as one of my flex plays this week.
Why not?
If anybody's going to do it, he's going to do it. He's quick. He's shifty, especially in your PPR leagues. He's going to demand these targets.
I can see Dan Arnold as well. Dan Arnold could do something as well, but he's been getting targeted quite a bit as well. So I could see that happening.
Yeah,
I think. But I think Marvin Jones is a complete. Do not start Marvin Jones if you have a replacement.
Here's the thing about Marvin Jones. The weeks you're starting him, he's putting up your duds. The weeks you're benching him, like when he played in London, he gets like, what was it, 1 or 2 touchdowns? It's just it's infuriating. You do it if you have to, but we don't love it.
We got Tre'Davious White to deal with him. Like Tre'Davious White will shut him down. Like there is no chance.
The thing is, for Buffalo to be productive in fantasy, we want. Oh yeah, that's a good point. We'll talk about running backs in a sec here. We want something from the Jaguars, right? We want them to make a game out of it, and maybe they can. They have the talent. Whether or not they'll do it. Okay, so a few things. We'll get to the running backs in a second here, Mike. But Bally is asking us because I wanted to save this. It's a half-point PPR. He needs a flex play. We got Rondell Moore, who we talked about, Laviska Shenault, who we touched on, Jarvis Landry, who is now again top fiddle in that offense, or Tony Pollard. Yep. We haven't talked about Dallas yet. We're talking about Dallas.
Let me look at the matchup for Cleveland real quick.
Well, the thing about Cleveland is against wide receivers,
so they got
this middling, right?
Yeah, 16.
It's middling. It might be a high-scoring game, but it's going to be a chub game, I believe. I'm kind of leaning towards Rondell here. Look, if Hopkins doesn't play, it's absolutely snap call Rondell Moore. If Hopkins does play, I'm still considering Rondell Moore, but Jarvis Landry probably has a much higher floor. And I think the true ceiling play is probably Laviska Shenault, just because he's the best player, in my opinion, the most well-rounded player, the type of player that can get points. But I don't trust the usage. So he's out.
So if you're a dog, I would go upside play with Rondell. If you're up and you're protecting and you think you're going to win this matchup, it's Jarvis.
Yeah, and that's it. That's it. So, okay, so James Robinson. It sounds like James Robinson's going to play.
Really?
I've kind of heard that he could play. He's a true game time decision. Again, I think this is one of those early games, so we'll get some clarity, which is a good thing. But if he does play, are you playing Carlos Hyde? If he doesn't play, are you playing Carlos Hyde? Or at least considering it?
Dude, it's the 28th worst running back matchup of the week, man. Like, I don't know. I do not know.
Desperate times.
Desperate times, I get it. Like if you are in a bye week issue, Carlos Hyde could sneak in there and get you 10 points, maybe. But I don't know, man. Like Carlos Hyde, dude, I don't know.
Okay.
I can't answer that question.
We're out on Carlos Hyde. We're out on Carlos
Yeah.
Hyde. Mike said to your question, Bally, he would choose Landry. So we kind of gave you our answer. All right, let's move on. Otherwise, we'll be here for 75 hours. Carolina versus New England. This is going to be a nasty, low-scoring game. It is a 41-point over-under. Carolina is actually favored by 3.5 points, which is honestly shocking to me. They might not have a quarterback. PJ Walker might be in for them. If that's the case, cue up that New England defense, man.
Yeah,
like they've been lights out.
Yeah, definitely. And I would temper your expectations on Damian Harris this week going against that Carolina run D. That Carolina run D is serious. And I like Damian Harris isn't getting the pass work. So he's really a guy that you want to plug in on games that they are favorites in. This one is going to be a tough one for Damian Harris, I believe.
Look, it's the same old story with freaking Bill Belichick and his running backs, right? Is it going to be a Brandon Bolden week where he gets like 75 targets?
Dude, Brandon Bolden can catch the football, so I would rather play Bolden over Harris this week.
Yeah, no, I think that's a sharp play. That's a sharp play. Let's move on. There's not much to talk about there. Let's get the people what they want. Okay, we're gonna skip the Chicago game because it's Monday night. We'll talk about that last. Cincy going up against Cleveland. So we touched on this game before. I think this could be sneaky high scoring. It's a 47-point over-under. Cincinnati, Jamar Chase is he's a monster. T. Higgins is an absolute monster.
Yep.
Your guy, because he's not my guy, Joe Mixon is sometimes a monster. He could be a monster.
When he wants to be.
Chubb. Okay, here's my question to you, okay? Dearness Johnson, yes or no?
Go.
If he's in the Kareem Hunt role, man, what do you think? What say you? Michael Carter went off last week against Cincy.
Yeah, dude, honestly, yeah. I mean, why not? I mean, like, they got no Odell. And Jarvis Landry still kind of nicked up from injuries. He's been playing through. I could totally see, I would flex him for sure. That makes sense. That makes sense to flex him.
In this situation, it's going to be a close game. It's only a 2.5 point differential.
Yeah.
Since he's slightly favored, but
I think it's going to be a total shootout. Like whenever it's at Cincy, man, they put up points. They put up points at home. So they're gonna have to control that tempo.
Yeah, and in DFS, this is going to be a great stacking game. I would
Damn
say.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Moving on. Unless you got anything else to say.
No. Just start T, start Jamar, start Burrow, and Mixon's got a terrible matchup, so I would temper your expectations.
There you go. Moving on. Dallas versus Denver. Dak Prescott looking to play. 48.5 over under. Dallas is favored by 10 points.
Oh, baby.
We're playing our studs, right? We're playing our studs.
This is a Pollard game, too. I like Pollard in this game. They're favorites. They're going to try and protect Dak a little bit with that injury. I could see them leaning heavily on the run game. Von Miller is gone. Their true heart of their team is gone. I can see Denver just literally packing it in and just saying screw it. And this management doesn't believe in us. I could totally see that. Like Von Miller was the guy that kept that team together, and I could just see Dallas just running these guys out of the stadium.
These guys are still pros, though. So, again, we just want it to be a game. Yeah. Are you comfortable starting Jerry Jeudy? I would say yes. Are you comfortable starting Cortland Sutton? Obviously.
So, Noah Fant is out. Noah Fant is out. So, I think Tim Patrick is a sneaky start this week. He's been getting some volume. Teddy loves to throw the ball to him in the red zone as well. And I could totally see, because Diggs is going to be all over Sutton and Jeudy. So Tim Patrick is going to be the forgotten man. I'm telling you, for DFS plug play, I think that's kind of a sneaky play that can get you like 20 points.
What about Albert Okwuegbunam?
No,
No,
I mean he's a player. Like they actually like him a little bit, but I don't know. I think Teddy's gonna stick to what he knows and stick to that trio of wide receivers and lean on that run game a little bit, and hopefully maybe they can win. But honestly, I believe Dallas is just gonna smash Denver.
Yeah, and it's still a 50-50 timeshare between Javonte and MG3.
It is.
Much. So I mean, if you got either of those guys, I'm okay starting them in a flex as a flex play, and I have to do it in 2 leagues actually. But are you confident that you're going to blow up? I mean, MG3 blew up last week with the multiple touchdowns. Like I think he had 2 last week.
Yeah,
and that's huge. But yeah. Okay, Bally's got another question here. I'm assuming this is Dearness Johnson because you're asking it right after. I'm still probably. This is tough. Dearness Johnson or Rondell Moore and flex.
I'm going Rondell higher upside, man. Like especially if Kyler plays. If Kyler plays
and Hopkins doesn't, for sure.
Yeah.
If not, I'm probably going Dearness.
Okay, that makes I won't argue against that. But like if Kyler plays, they're gonna limit him and they're gonna make him kind of just get that ball out and just try and just they're gonna try and sneak past, like just sneak past this game a little bit. I could totally see I can see Rondell blowing up with Kyler. So yeah.
All right, moving on to a game that we thought was going to be fantastic. Look, we're not going to get into the news of Aaron Rodgers. Everybody's probably heard the Pat McAfee interview. It is what it is, ladies and gentlemen. Green Bay going at Kansas City. They're 7-point underdogs, 48 points over under.
This is a good game.
Green Bay side, we're starting Davante Adams. We're starting Aaron Jones. Anybody else in Green Bay you're willing to start?
Yeah, absolutely. I think you got to consider AJ Dillon here as a flex. With this rookie quarterback, man, I think they're going to try and protect him in the big time game against the Chiefs here. I think they're going to try and just calm him down a little bit and control this tempo of this game and keep the Chiefs on the sideline. I could totally see AJ Dillon getting 15 touches this week.
You guys heard it here. 15 touches for AJ.
I'm telling you.
Kansas City.
I'm telling you.
Derek Gore. We're not starting Derek Gore this week. It's not going to happen.
Nope.
No. Frickin' Tyreek Hill, man. He got absolutely peppered with targets last week. Tyreek Hill
last week had
18 targets. 18 targets.
Yep. It's going to continue. Insane. It's going to continue. Even though it's a bad matchup, for wide receivers, it doesn't matter. Hill's matchup proof. It doesn't matter. Start Hill. I would not start Hardman or anybody like that. I think it's a Kelsey. Kelsey has to get back on track here. I think they're going to force feed him a little bit and get his mojo going. He hasn't looked right since he took that hard hit like 2 weeks ago, and I thought he was concussed, but he was not supposedly, but I think he still kind of is and still was the week after. I think this is lingering issues from that. But the running backs have the matchup here for Kansas City. Maybe, I don't know, like Gore. I just don't know.
You're not starting Gore.
Like,
you're not.
I just don't know.
Don't chase last week's points. Don't do it.
Yeah, don't do it. I think Kelsey's the guy that's standing out to me.
Okay, so he has no impressive stats. He went undrafted in 2019. He had no pass targets last week, and he only had 11 touches where he got 48 yards in the touchdown. The touchdown saved the day. If he didn't score that touchdown, nobody would be talking about Derek Gore. Don't do it. I don't recommend it. Bally coming at us with the tough questions today. AJ Dillon or Javonte Williams? I'm probably leaning Javonte. I just think he's a better player. And he's more explosive than AJ Dillon, and I just trust him more. That's me, because we know his usage is going to be 50-50. We know half the time he's going to get those running back touches. AJ Dillon, we don't know as much. So, and those goal line,
I don't know, man. This is a tough question because AJ does not have the matchup, but AJ Dillon and the Green Bay does. Man, I probably would. I would roll
Dillon.
Probably, I would roll Dillon. Honestly, I think
we're split again. That means you've got two good options, Bully. That's the positive, though. I would say.
But I think they're going to seriously try and protect Love. I think they're going to run, play action, and and just run some more and try and get this win and sneak out of there and get this win. I could totally see that happening. And yeah, I think it's Dillon this week.
All right, we'll do a little side wager on that one. I'm
Sure,
going
why not?
Javonte. You go AJ Dillon.
25 push-ups.
25. Okay, we'll do. Yeah, okay, 25. You can probably do like fucking 100 easy. Look at that. Look at that frame. Look at that chest, man. I'm like a child compared to you, but that's okay. All right. Realistic expectations for Adams. Here's the thing, Mike. When you've got a young quarterback who's learning the game, who isn't very good, at least he's not yet.
Well, I don't know if we don't know if he's good or not.
We don't know. That's what I'm saying. We don't know yet. It's too early to tell. He's going to force feed Javonte Adams.
The number one option.
Adams doesn't get 15 targets. The Green Bay Packers failed with the game plan.
I agree.
He's going to be good, Mike. Don't worry about it.
Especially with Tunyon out, he's going to want to throw it to the big body and the guy that's a Hall of Fame career player that, like you give it to your studs when you're without Aaron Rodgers. And I think it's the trio. It's the run game, and they're going to pepper the hell out of Adams.
There you go. Moving on to Houston at Miami. Tyler Taylor's back, so you're starting Cooks. What about the Miami side?
Cook is a great start. Cook is one of my flex starts of the week.
There you go.
He is Brandon Cooks is a flex starter of the week. Especially with Tyrod back. I think Tyrod brings back some of that veteran leadership, some of that just to calm down the game a little bit. I think they need that a lot. And Brandon Cooks they have the second best wide receiver matchup of the week against the Miami secondary. And Brandon Cooks gets open against everybody. It doesn't matter who's covering him. So I can see Tyrod Taylor giving it to Cooks. And I think Cooks scores and has easily 80 yards.
Can we talk about Jaylen Waddle for a second here?
Okay.
And just how impressive his rookie season really has been. Look,
I
hate the fact that Miami traded up to get him. It didn't make any sense. But we knew Jaylen Waddle was a great player. And unfortunately, Jamar Chase is just having an insane rookie season because, it's that's just how good Jamar Chase is. But
Jamar Chase
Jaylen
is a
Waddle
goat, dude.
on the season. Yeah, man. He's so good.
Yeah.
I mean, we saw Justin Jefferson, and he's like, look, Justin Jefferson's my boy, but I'm going to outproduce him. I'm going to show you why I was the alpha on that offense. But moving on to Jaylen Waddle. So Devontae Parker was just put on IR again, which means he's going to miss at least 3 games. So far this season, he's averaged 13 PPR points per game, which is 31st. So it's a pretty reliable wide receiver 3, but he's got that massive upside. And here's the thing. He's number 4 in routes run with 287, on the season. He's number 7 in receptions on the season with 48. He's got a 94.1% true catch rate. And we're talking about that target share. He's got a 24.4% target share. Albeit it's low. It's 5.9 yards per target, which is 93rd in the league. But they're getting him the ball, and they're giving him opportunities to do what he does best. I've been so impressed by Jaylen Waddle. I will say I was a skeptic. I'm always a little bit of a skeptic when it comes to like these speed guys. But I think he's special. I'm saying it. Jaylen Waddle is a special player. Yep. I was lower on him than maybe the consensus coming into the season because I didn't see it. In his last season, but fuck, Jaylen Waddle, you're starting him every single week. Like he's not even a consideration, right?
Yeah, 100%. And we've been saying for the last 2-3 weeks that he's a trade target. So I hope people did go pick him up because because Parker's out, dude, he is gonna go nuclear. And also. But I don't know. Like this week, he has a middling matchup, but so his athleticism should overcome that. He should have a great game. But the guy with the matchup of the week for the Dolphins is Gesicki. Gesicki.
Finally, Gesicki season.
Gesicki is gonna go off in this game. He has the second best matchup of the week. He's getting volume. I totally see him just killing it this week. So he's a great DFS tight end. That's a good one. And if you have him, start him and just enjoy, man, because everybody scores against Houston and every tight end does. And Gesicki is no different. He's going to score.
Moving on to the Chargers at Philly. It is going to be a close game. It's only a 1.5 point differential. Chargers are favored, but it's 50 points over under. I love the Chargers this week. I love Philly this week. I think this is going to be a fun game, man.
Oh man,
let's talk about the Chargers.
Austin Eckler week it's going to be beautiful this week. Austin Eckler is going to have 30 points. Like Philadelphia is the second worst running backs in fantasy, and Austin Eckler is elite. He is getting force-fed targets. He's getting the rush attempts. I don't see how he couldn't score 25 points. I don't see how he could.
It's going to be a fantastic game. Okay, if you were to redraft today, knowing that you got Thursday night's game in the bank, okay, with Jonathan Taylor, you taking Austin Eckler or JT for the rest of the season?
Ooh.
That was always our big question, right? We said we love Eckler. We just had Gibson and JT.
I take JT, dude. I'm taking the freaking the mutant. That guy is a
was
mutant.
It 78-yard run or 82-yard
80 something yards. It was like 84 yards, wasn't it?
It's just a beautiful. It's just
bro. He's
so beautiful.
He looked like I tweeted at Roster Watch this week about it. Like what would have happened if they would have just given this guy a Derrick Henry workload off the jump? They would probably be 6-2, 5-3. You know, like or 7-2, 6-3, or like I just don't see.
Nyheim Hines is good. He's good.
I understand good.
He's good,
but I understand he's good, but he's not a guy that you want to hinder one of the best running backs in the league for. Like what I would do is in games that you're heavily favored in and you know you're gonna win. Yeah, get Hines in there, take some of those snaps away from Taylor. But in games that are competitive, like JT should have 25 targets or 25 touches a game. Like it should not be a debate. It shouldn't be a debate.
I love JT. He's just
look what's happened to Michael Pittman since they've leaned on JT.
Pittman, a fantastic catch on Thursday night. It was just fun. Thursday night was a fun game for fantasy.
Give myself a pat on the back about Pittman preseason. Pittman is a superstar, and I hope everybody has him. He's a stud. Like this guy is gonna be. He might be a second-round pick next year in redraft.
Oh, he's gonna be 5th or 6th. Don't be silly.
No, he won't.
Get out of here.
No, he will be. Yes, he will.
I got to start writing these things down.
Write them down. 2nd, 3rd round. I guarantee it.
I'm not quite there yet. I think round 5. That's usually the sweet spot for those types of guys. But we'll talk in the offseason. All right, moving on. Because look, Chargers, you're starting.
Write it down.
You're starting Mike Williams, you're starting Keenan Allen. On the Philly side, you're starting Dallas Goedert, you're starting Devonta Smith, Jalen Reagor's out. Quez Watkins in a deep league because I love Quez. He's just explosive. Sure, and of course, Jalen Hurts. Love it. Of course, Jalen Hurts, he had his first dud week on his the game where Philly blows out Detroit. He has his dud game on the season. Just that's fantasy, man. And
honestly, guys, if you guys started Gainwell last week, don't beat yourself up about it. That was the right freaking process and call. Every single running back scored last week, except for Gainwell because of I don't know if it was a doghouse thing or what. He got in trouble. What?
He doesn't.
I don't get it.
Gainwell doesn't take pass or running plays. He's the pass catcher. And they were ahead the entire game. Yeah. So you got game scripted the hell out. Okay, got another question by Bally. This one's easy for me to Bally. I am benching Bateman here. Tony, Marvin Jones, Bateman. You're benching Bateman. He might be hurt. He's still he's down on that depth chart.
Dude, start Tony and enjoy.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, let's move on. Okay, so Las Vegas at New York Giants.
Here we go. That's a good matchup right here.
Oh, it's good, but man, it's so sad. It's just the whole Henry Ruggs thing. We're not going to get into it because you guys have probably heard it on sports media the last 4 or 5 days.
Yeah, we're not here for that
situation. We're praying honestly for the family of the victim, and we're praying for Henry Ruggs, man. Unfortunately, he ruined his life. That's it.
He did.
I saw this morning he was charged with a gun charge, and it's adding up, right? And man, I hope for the best for everybody, and I hope that Ruggs turns his life around and this turns into a positive somewhere down the road. But it's sad. Don't drink and drive, ladies and gentlemen. But
this does this open the door for Edwards? Like, does this open the door for Edwards? Like, I could totally see that now. For sure.
Look, here's the thing about Bryan Edwards. I just don't know if he's actually one of those true yet. Anyways, because there's Darren Waller, they've got Hunter Renfro. So is the market share going to pick up? Look, Henry Ruggs, he was averaging 3-4 targets a game. So those got to go to somebody. Maybe a few would go to Bryan Edwards. I want them to get their freaking Darren Waller more involved in the game. Like he started the season hot, but he's been kind of disappointing. Let's call it what it is. Darren Waller's been disappointing on the season. This is where you need to lean on him. You lean on your leaders.
I think they do. I think they will. I think they will. Even though it's a middling matchup for Waller, I think volume overcomes. Waller has a good game. Jacobs is playing. He's got a good matchup. He's got the 8th best matchup for running backs. I could totally see Jacobs in there doing pretty decent. And I think Edwards is a dart throw that might work out. Or Renfro. Renfro's so underrated. Oh my God. He's like he's like the Cole Beasley on the West Coast. He's so underrated, but he might sneak in there.
Hunter Renfro is a fantastic football player. He's just if you're building a team, I want Hunter Renfro on my damn team. He's just absolutely. He goes out there, he takes the hits, he gets back up. I mean, look, everybody's gonna say that short white wide receiver, but he reminds me of Julian Edelman. Because that's how those guys make it in this league, right? You got to be tough. You got to be willing to take those hits, unfortunately, and that's how you make it in this league. On the Giants side, we love Kadarius Toney. You're starting Daniel Jones. Javonte Booker, man.
Javonte Booker. So he's a 100% flex start of the week for me. I love his workload. They're giving him passing targets. This is the 6th best matchup for running backs. I could totally see him blowing up and having a great game. I could see 15 to 20 points out of him. Yeah, for sure.
I mean, he had 6 targets last week. He had 20 total touches for 125 yards. Didn't get the touchdown, but he got 93% snap share. That matters.
Yeah. That matters. And I think, you're right. I think Booker is a complete really good start of the week.
Yeah, and for those who didn't hear, Saquon Barkley has been officially ruled out.
That's why they're not bringing him back till after their bye.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. Yeah. Okay, so that does it for the afternoon games. Let us talk about the Sunday night game. It is a Rams versus Tennessee. This one is interesting because the big waiver wire targets this week were obviously the 2 running backs, Adrian Peterson and, of course,
Mcnichols.
Jeremy Mcnichols.
Yep.
First of all, people were asking me this week, who should I prioritize? I was telling everybody to go after Jeremy Mcnichols. Now, Adrian Peterson might get to goal line work. It's going to be kind of a grind him offense, but let me just try to sell you on Jeremy Mcnichols for a second, okay? So he's 5'9", 214 pounds, which means he's got that weight.
He's got some girth.
Right? So he can take a hit. Yeah, exactly. He's got some girth. He's got an 81st percentile speed score and a 62nd percentile burst score. He already has 21 wide receptions on the season. Here's the thing. Jeremy Mcnichols is a very good wide receiver. In college at Boise State, in his sophomore season, he had 51 receptions for 460 yards. He also had 1,337 rush yards.
And he's a good player.
And then in his senior season, he had 37 receptions. So in your PPR leagues, Jeremy Mcnichols, I think, is going to get an opportunity. He's going to get to targets. And we mostly play in those types of leagues. Adrian Peterson is going to be touchdown dependent. That worries me a little bit. Every week.
This week. No, I think my thing is, I think this week, because of the pass rush of the Rams, the only way to beat pass rush like that is with screen game and running directly into it. Yeah. And that is how you beat that defensive line. And I think Mcnichols is definitely going to get major target. Like, I think he's going to get targets. I think he's going to be very good for you this week. But I think as this goes on, I think as Peterson gets the bumps and bruises of the NFL and gets the soreness out, coming back mid-season, he's an old salty dog veteran. I get it. He's going to need a week 2 weeks to kind of get going.
Is he in football shape?
I think he's in football shape. I think he's in great shape. The Titans PR, like their media has been going nonstop on how he has looked at practice and explosive, and he looks young.
Yeah.
I think him stepping in halfway through the season, I think he could really be a lifesaver for people going into the playoffs. I think he's a sneak. I went all in on him on Fab in a couple leagues where I think that I'm gonna need some help in the later in the season. I don't think I don't think this week is his week, but I think starting next week is when you'll start seeing his workload increase.
Yeah. And as the season goes on, right, as he gets back into football shape, Mike made me laugh. He said, if you're going to sell me on Jeremy Mcnichols, I got oceanfront property here in Arizona. Mike, that's just trolling.
Hey man, no, honestly, Mcnichols, he's going to get targets because of the pass rush. They have to. Yeah. They have to get the ball out of Tannehill's hands. I think they're going to run right into the teeth of that pass rush as well. They're going to have to. They're going to have to get him the ball out on screens.
I have a dynasty question for you since we're on the Rams right now.
Sure.
If you are a contending team, okay, what are you willing to pay to acquire Darrell Henderson, knowing that Cam Akers is coming back next year for sure, and it could be a timeshare? Cam Akers is probably going to be the lead dog. So it's a one-season purchase. What are you willing to pay? Are you willing to give up your first-round pick, knowing that it's probably going to be the 10th, 11th, 12th pick?
Yeah.
Or no?
I mean, for me, championships, I throw picks away for championships all the time. Like, especially if you're in that spot, and DH has been a complete stud this year. Yes. Like for the rest of the year, man, you're getting him for half the year. And when my buddy Mike was telling me, you don't know what you're going to get out of Cam Akers early next year. So you could probably sell DH once you're done with him to the Cam Akers owner. It just after you're done with him. So you could probably get, a couple second round pick and maybe a player for him in the offseason. So you're really not losing that much if you want to do that. I am all for pushing in when you got a chance at the chip. Like, you don't get those chances every year, man. Like you just don't. And if you have that chance, go for it. Go for it.
We're here to win championships. I agree with you. Here's the thing. In a league that I have him in, I'm like first in points in that league. I'm second in overall. So I'm keeping Darrell Henderson. In the other league that I have him in Dynasty, I am a middling team. I don't think I'm going to make the playoffs. I had a lot of injuries. And I'm trying to sell him, but nobody's willing to bite yet. It's too early in the season.
Wow.
So,
dude, I would have bought him.
I've been shopping around to the leaders in the we'll see what happens when we're like 2 or 3 weeks out of the playoffs.
I mean, most trade deadlines are what, week 10, 11?
Well, in this particular league, I don't have a trade deadline. The only stipulation for trading for me is that teams in the playoffs are not allowed to trade while they're in the playoffs. That's the only stipulation. So it's it's like a modified trade rule. But
that makes sense.
Dynasty. I like.
I'm not a big fan of no trade. You got to have a trade deadline. You got to have that moment for owners to push in or not. And I think that helps out actually shitty teams selling and getting most value out of players as well. So
well, we'll see. In one league that I commissioned, there's a trade deadline. It's a firm deadline, and in the other one, I removed it. So we'll see what happens. All right, last game on the slate. It's the Monday night game. It's kind of a shitty game. Let's call it what it is. It's Chicago going at Pittsburgh. It is a 39-point over-under. Starting Deontay, you're starting your Pittsburgh skill players, right? Your Najee Harris, your Chase Claypool. Chicago, man, Darnell Mooney, maybe. Justin Fields, maybe if you've got Kyler Murray because it's the afternoon game and you're desperate.
Right.
That's pretty much it, right? Like, that's it?
Yeah, honestly, that's it. Like, the matchup.
Well, Khalil Herbert.
Like, actually,
Herbert.
Herbert. That one's going to be – temper your expectations if you have to start Herbert. Herbert is going against the Steelers are no joke when you're rush defense. So I think the wide receivers on the Pittsburgh has the best matchup of the of that whole game on both sides. So Claypool is definitely in play. And Deontay is just insert him in for 15, 20 points always.
Deontay Johnson, he's just an absolute.
I got to apologize to that guy. So like he proved me wrong this year. He's a complete alpha. Like I'll take my L on him. Like I thought maybe he might still have the dropsies or whatever, but he's been great. He's been great, and I've actually been trying to trade for him a little bit, and nobody wants to sell because he's the most consistent wide receiver out there right now. It seems like
he's number 11 on the season.
He's a beast. When he plays, man, he's consistent.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, so he's averaging 10.5 targets per game. He's got a 30% market share.
Yeah,
that's elite, and that's to be expected, right? He's only had 3 touchdowns on the season. Kind of is what it is, I guess.
That's Ben. I think that's on Ben. Like that's Ben. Ben's just terrible. Like he's not good.
He's just old, man. Like he's old and broken. Like
he's
Ben
not
is
good.
He's not the poster child for a healthy quarterback, right? Like you see Tom Brady, and then the polar opposite of that is Ben Roethlisberger. So kind of is what it is. So. Yep. Ladies and gentlemen, we did it again. We are over time. We went over an hour today, Brandon, but it's just.
Did we really?
Yeah, we did. We're at an hour. It is what it is. We love talking about football.
Dude, it seems like that's what we do is an hour.
Yeah, we went from 45 to now we're doing this. It's like been 50 to 55. Now we're over an hour, but what the hell, man? We're here to talk about football. If you stick with us to the end, we love you. We appreciate you. Please like, subscribe.
Tweet. Yep.
Follow, retweet, engage us on Twitter. I mean, that's where you're going to find us. That's
Dude,
where
honestly, our flex plays have been freaking fire the last like 6 weeks, like last 4 weeks. We've been crushing flex plays. So.
Thank you, Bali. We appreciate you listening. So thank you so much. Brandon, where do the good people find you?
On Twitter, Brandon D. Adam 19. Hit me up.
Brandon loves talking about football and he loves talking shit. Of course, you can follow me on Twitter at TheFlexNetwork1. Thank you again for listening, ladies and gentlemen. So for Brandon, for Season Long Says, for Flex Matt, I am Flex Shane, and we are the Flex Network.
This is the Flex Network. This is the Flex Network. Flex on them. Flex on everybody.